Boom. That means HAMTAG is in, baby.
It
HAMTAG.
is.
Judd was just preaching it. We got some coffee here.
I already had mine. If I don't get it first thing in the morning, I can't wake up.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I like my coffee. I like my coffee. Now, the big question is, by going an hour later, did you mow?
No, it actually, we got rain again last night, and those 360 mowers, basically plants one tire in the ground and then spins, and if your ground is not really dry, it'll just the grass.
Yeah, so no mowing due to the rain. Got it. I knew. So we started an hour later. Part of it was I've got grandkids here, and it allows me a little bit more of an easy open. The other part is they had this analytical part on YouTube that came out that said, when are most of your viewers on YouTube? Well, Saturday and Sunday, of course, are big days. And then getting into 11 and noon, it was showing that just naturally a lot more of the viewers are on at that time. So I thought, well, let me try an 11 o'clock slide. Let's see. Nathaniel Robinson says, hi, Bart and Judd.
JD, check it out. Go about two before that. JD says, Chief, will you be referenced? There it is.
Referencing a list of GMT games that was posted earlier. Do we need to repost? No, I will be using that list. So I've already got, I will share the screen later. I will be pulling up my YouTube channel, and I've got it queued. So you'll be seeing that as I go over those comments. Now, Judd may go, if he wants to, or I can do it. He can go to BGG and later on share that screen as well. Sometimes they overlap, but we'll get a few commenters there. Let me do a couple things for folks that are coming in or watching this later. So, of course, right now we're live. We're going to be talking about, I really should have opened, this is the fan top 5. We always do this after we do our top 5, Judd and I's top 5, but this is, we're moving into publishers and we focused on GMT. So this is our personal, is what we've already done, GMT top 5. This show, we focus on what the fans listed in the comments. Makes it interactive and gives us a chance to circle back. We're going to continue doing different publishers, and as long as we can, we've got to kind of have enough to do that publisher. GMT was the obvious starter. Everybody, well, okay, whatever. Everybody in the planet has at least 10 GMT games. How's that, Judd? Does that sound truthful?
Yes. Okay, there's nothing on BGG. It's all YouTube. I was checking it while you was talking.
Oh, okay, there's nothing on. They didn't go in. That's true. That's true. We didn't get kind of as we fell off the list a little bit, and that's fine. I prefer to go to YouTube to see the comments. That's where all the algorithms are that tell me if I'm engaging properly with the folks. I like reposting the link on BGG. Some folks that don't have YouTube accounts that said, hey, I want to go in and do my comments there. So that's good. I'm glad Judd checked it, but there'll be nothing to post there as well. Let me do a little bit of a roll call. I want to mention, too, why we got everybody here. Tomorrow, man, I need to check my time. I'll put it up, but I've got Robert Waters is going to be on now. He worked at Avalon Hill. He was there as a play test. He did play testing for a long time under Don Greenwood, and then he was actually in charge of putting out the General for a period of time. Friends with Charlie Kibler, and I'm going to continue reaching out to Avalon Hill employees and Victor Games. Hello, I was talking to Mark Herman again because I love. Yeah, I love the great one.
Napoleon Dynamite reference there.
I love diving back into that history, and I want to bring on as many and everyone from Avalon Hill, great or small, as I can. I would even love to get, I think Monarch was their paper publisher that bought them out in the 70s. I would love to even have folks on from there. So I'm going to be trying to, that'll be a bigger project. It's actually a lot more time consuming to set up a live because I'm my own producer. So I'm talking, calling, emailing, texting, doing a practice run. A lot more work. Judd's an expert. So Judd knows how to come in and boom, I'm the one that messes up the live shows where I can't hear Judd. My speakers aren't keyed. Let's do a little bit of a roll call, just a quick one, and then we'll get into what the fans are doing and kind of what you and I have been playing. So JD was in early, just saying top of the morning. He had this here, and he's in New Mexico, and it was hot. It was already hot. It's pretty warm here too, but we've got some nice rain coming in. We had Vorpal.
You know that, don't you?
Say again?
You know it's going to be humid next week, don't you?
Sure, you bet. I'm ready for it. We're in Kansas in July.
Yeah. What else is new, right?
There you go. I expected. I actually love the transitions of weather in Kansas. You get very distinct seasons. Sometimes spring's a little short.
Sometimes in the same day.
Yeah.
Say if you don't like the weather, wait a few hours.
That's right. Vorpal Bite, I'm expecting Amazon delivery. Well, look at that. And it's a game. He ordered Lock and Load Forgotten Heroes Vietnam. Hello. Nice. I'm going to get that out there. What did he do? Oh, look at this. He's even using tech. He put a baby monitor on the mailbox so that he can keep a close eye out for the delivery. Perfect. Let's see. Here's Jerry. Hey, it's HAMTAG. Just finished a 3-day marathon on Axis and Allies 1914. He wants to know if anyone else is playing that, so you guys can do that in the sidebar.
That is one sweet avatar, dude.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I love it.
Love the cap. Didn't care for him that much until the movies. Then I loved him. He's my favorite.
Yeah, he's definitely the unifier. So he's the leader. He's got all that. But and then that kind of brings up that Vorpal wants to buy War Room. I keep hearing about it. It's very expensive. It's supposed to be like the current day Axis and Allies with a lot of cool bits.
Huh.
It takes a group to play, and it's like $400. That's right up Judd's alley.
Woo! Yeah, that's me.
Let's see. So, yes, JD will be referencing your lists on GMT. That led me to mention that there. Jerry, again with the great avatar, does say War Room looks legit. He's having a hard time selling it to his friends, though, which I totally get and understood. Let's see. I like this here. So, Sola, he's got another great avatar. Look at that. Nice shirt, Chief. Ripped, I assume. Yes. So I haven't been subscribing to Rip lately. It was almost like an addiction. They put out like a T-shirt a day, and they're on limited buy. You got to buy them within 24 hours or something if you get them at the right price. And it was darn near cotton crack cocaine is what I like to call it, because I'd be like, "Ooh, they got a Boba Fett thing," and then I would have to buy it, and my shirt was overflowing. But I do love their shirts. Let's see. We'll do a few more here. The screen just jumped on me. He bought a B-52 and a Mushroom Cloud miniatures. Going to explore some of what scenarios Viet Cong. And I'm sure I missed something here as I went up. Tom D yelled out, HAMTAG. HAMTAG. All right. Let me do two more. And let's see. I like this here just because Magnus, Sweden says, hello, Judd.
We are live.
Ooh, what do you got there?
Tom, he always comes in. I forgot to tell him we're an hour later, and I just played Vassal with him Thursday night. We're playing Command and Colors Tricorn. Having one heck of a duel going right now.
Very cool. So there's SoCal's in. And then the last comment, because Boba Fett, love Boba Fett. Me too, man. Han was my hero, and Boba Fett was the bad archetype that I liked.
Are you old enough to remember the Star Wars toys of the 70s?
Old enough. I still got them.
Well, you're a youngster.
Born in 70.
My buddy, when they, he got a bunch of stuff from the original movie. I guess episode 4 is what they call it now. But before Empire Strikes Back came out, they were offering this thing. If you send in like 4 proofs of purchases at $1 or something, they'd send you Boba Fett.
Yeah, you get Boba. I checked the mail every day, and then I found out that his rocket would launch out of his pack.
Yeah,
but there was a choking hazard.
Yep.
So they had to stop. They didn't send any out, is what I understand. So then they had to glue that thing in there.
Yeah, he got one. It was glued in. We always thought that'd be cool if it would come out, but
right.
I wondered if it did, because around that time was the Battlestar Galactica toys.
Oh, I had.
They had the little rockets that would shoot.
Oh yeah, the Viper and the Cylon ship. I had it all, man.
Yep. And it's funny because if you sent your rockets in, they would mail you a toy. So one of my buddies did this, and they sent a couple of Hot Wheels cars. And I was just blown away that the company who makes this would run out and buy a bunch of Hot Wheels. You know, it never occurred to my whatever 8-year-old brain that it was all the same company.
Right. Yeah, I had all that. Yeah, I know kids were putting Vipers in their mouth, which sounds terrible, and then triggering off accidentally the spring-loaded launcher, and it was getting stuck in kids' throats. Not good, but I didn't put my Viper in my mouth. Boy, that sounds wrong too.
Yep. Yeah, Lucky 13 had a comment coming. The next one, when the original Star Wars came out, I still have it. It's so cool. It was a button that says had Darth Vader's face, and it says Darth Vader lives. Because you remember, he spun off, and we didn't know what happened to him.
Right.
And anyways, yeah, that was so cool. I was like, man, that is such a cool little memorabilia piece, because you don't see stuff. You know, people who had that back in whatever 77 probably dump. You know, that's what makes stuff valuable. People had it and threw it away.
No, well, I saw somebody had the Boba Fett mail-in with the box and the little label explaining something, and I'm like, I threw all that away because I was playing with it. But they have
my buddy ripped his cards up and threw them. I mean, we played with the toys.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, if that made that whole thing worth something like $500 to some collector, I was like, oh my god. So, but let's get into what we're talking about. What are you playing lately? I'm going to tell you, I haven't played this, but because of the GMT talk, I went and pulled this back off my shelf. All right, Fields of Fire, supposedly one of the best solitaire systems out there, but it's deep, and you got to get the second version rules. I won this in some kind of giveaway at BGG, and I started to read the rules and was like, nope. And all the cards are still in cellophane in here, and I keep hearing I need to read the second version rules, and then maybe I can play it. So that, or I need to watch a video or something, because I would love to play it. I still have not. Excuse me. What about you? What do you play?
I will show you. See if I can do this right.
Oh, Lord. Look at this.
There. East front. There we go. It's funny. One way and everything's backwards. East front. I got East front too. I got a Barbarossa set up. I started playing it. So let's get this back.
Yeah,
did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. East front. You were a little muffled. We heard it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I got East front 2 set up. I'm doing Barbarossa. I got a refresher because it's been a while. Well, heck, you and I did that video back when. The Edelweiss, I walked through that, which really isn't a scenario, it's just a teaching tool. So I got familiar with got to brush up on the rules again, and that system's so smooth. I mean, it just makes sense. And back then, I thought for some reason the railheads were really hard to kind of get my mind around, but they really aren't. But yes, I thought I'm ready to go. And Rusty, Krusty from BGG always says, man, you got to play Barbarossa. And I've messed around with it before years and years ago. Like, I'm going to do this again, because your temptation is always to burn up your HQs and blitz like crazy. And you got to be really judicious with how you blitz. So this is so yeah, back. And
let me repeat your sentence because it's beautiful. You got to be very judicious with your HQs, because you just want to blitz. I just love that sentence. I love it. I get it. I totally get it. That is the war game nerd in me going, love that sentence.
Yeah, so I thought I'd spend the month of July messing around with the different front games, since they kind of share the same rules for the most part.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this, mess around with Barbarossa for a while, then flip over and do West Front and mess around with it for a little bit. And I thought I had to dedicate the month of July, because then in August I start having a day of vacation every week, because I got so much of it built up at work. I'm going to have War Game Mondays again, where I just play a new game every Monday.
I like it. I've got some built up as well. I have Austerlitz 1805 from Trafalgar Games on the table, starting to play it. I'll get it played. Follows the same kind of stuff that 1815 from the same company had in Waterloo. However, they got rid of their blocks that you had a sticker, and now they've got little counters. We'll see if I can pick these up. They look great, though. I actually think I like the counters. They're better than the blocks, but we'll see.
Wait, are you talking the Columbia game?
No. This is from Trafalgar Games from Spain.
Oh, okay.
So Jose, I think it's Jose or Juan. No, it's Jose. Out of the blue, it just showed up. Now, I love that. And I love getting games actually from Europe. because there's a groundswell of what there didn't used to be, my understanding, a lot of war games coming out of there, even in their own, just for whatever reason. But you've got some companies now putting out some very interesting games, and Trafalgar is definitely one of them. And I love it. And the guy is so fun to talk to. So sometimes he'll send me Spanish because English is his second language, and then my wife will translate it because she's from Puerto Rico. And then he started emailing her in Spanish. It was great. He's a great guy.
Before we lose it and I forget it, somebody had asked a question. Vorpal, I have never played Battle of Bushy Run. Sorry, man, not familiar with it. And then another John Rogers had asked about Maori Wars. I'm not familiar with that one either.
Yeah, that looks very interesting. So it's the indigenous, like Polynesian, the battles that went on there, and a lot of between the islands and stuff is my understanding. I remember looking at it. The cover, if I remember, was gorgeous. Really drew me in. And,
man, those are some bold dudes, man.
Oh yeah.
You ever been out to Hawaii, like the island hopping? Those islands aren't as close as you think.
Right.
And,
no, I've not been to Hawaii.
And you get a bunch of dudes hopping on a boat, and you're not using you're not using GPS and stuff, using the stars, and they can go from island because you miss it. You're out in the middle of the Pacific. I'm like, sure. There were some bold dudes.
Oh, very, very. Yeah. Here's a question for you. Hey, Judd, got fires of Midway. Need to play still. Looking forward to it. So
that's one of my mini Monday games I have kind of penciled down. It's not a new game, but I wanted to try a new scenario I haven't tried before. But in regards to what we talked about last week on GMT, it did come in, and I played it's funny, I read the rules that night because I knew so many of them. He's just skim and look for the new stuff, and then played it the next day. The copy I got was already stickered. That was sweet. Ooh. And then this bad boy came in, and man, I would get this on the table right now if I weren't already committed to East Front, West Front.
Really? Infidel Rolling Roses.
I got that C3I with Battle of Wakefield from Roger McGowan. Set it up, loved it. Immediately ordered the Men of Iron tri-pack. I was like, it's just a really simple system, and if you played a lot of Berg games, you recognize a lot of similarities. Like I said, Sign of the Pagan, Glory, and Great Battles of History. There's lots of simple Great Battles of History. Lots of similarities in the systems.
You are good on that.
Now that I have that, I'm going to use these boxes to prop this computer up.
Do it.
I don't like the angle. I keep having to slouch because I don't have my monitor stand that I had when I was working home for 6 weeks. So there we go.
Well, let's get into, this is the fan show, so that's a good catch up. Anything else you want to do before I go share the screen here?
Not that I know of.
All right. Let me see if I can, it's been a while since we've even done this. Let me pop over to that, and then I'm popping over to here, and then I'm clicking, boom. All right. Everybody should see that now. I can't see the comments is the only difference. We're going to roll through this. Bjorn Frank. Bjorn Frank is also a Patreon member, and he's on my B-17 currently. Love the guy. Frank is my tail gunner. I feel like I know him, and he's literally on my plane. Sorry. Also, we get to see you wearing the Pope hat. The people love the Pope hat, brother. The people love the Pope hat. You want to say anything about the Pope hat?
Me? I'm trying to catch up. I thought I had I'm on that YouTube screen. I can't see your screen, so I was trying to coordinate mine with yours. But
well, let's see. What I've done to make it easier is I did them by newest, and then I scrolled to the bottom.
Newest, thank you. Okay, now will be.
Click newest, and then you go all the way down to the bottom, and then that will show you the one that was a week ago. I like working up from the bottom. That
will work as long as we're synced.
There we go. We got Bjorn Frank, who put his list out. 1 coin, and I'm going to come back to that. 2 Churchill, 3 Time of Crisis, 4 Labyrinth, 5 Twilight Struggle. Now, there is a Greg Schmitkin, so for part of the HAMTAG Full. He went in and commented on some of the coin stuff. There's a lot of discussion on how coin can be broken down. We won't do that on this show, but if you want to see some of that great discussion and Greg joining in on the forums, you can definitely go read that. There's some great commentary back and forth on that. Here's Tom Knight. Whoops. Why did I hit that? I hit reply instead of read more was what I was trying to hit. All right. Hi, Bart. his top 5 is 5 Space Core. So again, this is Tom Knight. 4 Guilford. Am I saying that right?
Guilford.
Guilford. Sorry, GUIL.
I think I could be. Heck, I could be wrong, but
I think you're right.
We had Tom here. He confirmed he's from North Carolina. He knows it.
There you go. Twilight Struggles, number 3. Number 2 is Command and Colors Ancients. I wonder why. And 1, Here I Stand. And then he does have I'll put this out. Here I Stand wins out due to depth of subject matter, interest, 2 levels of war, both the political and the religious, and the Great Chrome. He's got some book recommendations. Here I Stand by Roland Bainton, 4 Princes, and I won't go into all the other ones, but you can see there's some material you can dive deeper on. You know, I have the original Here I Stand. My dad was intrigued by that. He was Lutheran and had studied Martin Luther, so of course the quote comes from Luther. Here I stand, for I can do no other. Man, and I just did it again. Why am I hitting reply instead of read more? Hello.
You know, I ended up trading my Here I Stand for that copy of Medieval you saw me holding up. But the only reason why was I thought I could solo the game. And yeah, Jesse down at the game store, I was teaching him France 1944, mentioned that, and he looked at me and said, "Dude, you can't solo that game." And he told me why. He said there's too much like diplomacy or something going on. And he said, "You're totally going to whiff on that." And I thought, yeah, you're right. So
there's 6 factions, and yeah, there's all kinds of cool stuff. It'd be a great con game, meaning playing con.
So I'm trying to talk Tom into moving out to Wichita. I told him I put in the comments I'd play with him and move out to Wichita.
There you go. Put him in your basement.
That's right.
It's the Matrix, man. Good show. Nice to see some Knizia here, and cool. You guys keep expanding the horizon. I put this on here even though it's not a list, but he really liked the Men of Iron or Napoleonic games, and then helpful review of Waterloo from me. But he's got Sekigahara kind of mentioned in there. But yeah, a lot of that talk was how you had through the CNC system, you'd gotten into the Napoleonics.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting, and I agree. I've still kind of stayed away from it. Spearhead 672 is 5 is SPQR, the deluxe edition. 4 is Normandy 44 from Simonich, the 440 series. 3 is Command and Colors Ancients and all the expansions. 2 is Panzer / MBT Main Battle Tank and its expansions, which they've done a great job on all those. And 1, Command and Colors Napoleonics and the expansions. He has some honorable mentions in there, but we're not going to go into all of those. But that is a fabulous list.
That may be kind of cool. I was hoping more people would comment when Greg got in that discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious. I've only played 2 in the series. If what people's favorite, like top 5 or whatever, coin games were. You know.
Yeah, we could almost do an episode on that, even though I know we're not both. You know, we haven't played them all.
Yeah, I've only played 2, but I'm just curious, like those guys who play everything, what they like the best. You know, just if there's
that might be a fun one just for the comments. You know what else folks want us to do, and I don't know if it's in here or not. It's been requested again that you and I again kind of brush up. You're way brushed up on it already. The new Midway movie. And then we come in and do our own Siskel and Ebert of what we liked and what we didn't. So we should do that at some point in time. Let's see, from ST Moad, I don't know, 79.
She skipped one.
Yeah, sometimes I'll, do you want it in?
Oh, yeah, 4.
I don't read every single one. So number 1, if you want them read on a highlight, you should list them in a way that makes it easy for me to read them. So Forrest Cole was getting skipped because I would prefer that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 be above. But that's all right. I went back. So he starts with great games. So again, start with, if you want them to be highlighted and easily read, start with the list and then put your comments because it drops below the fold. But Forrest says 5 for the people. I think that's why you wanted it. 4, Liberty or Death. 3 is Pax Baltica. 2 is Twilight Struggle. It's got some honorable mentions in there with Andy and Abyss. won Washington's War, and this is definitely why you wanted Forrest to be mentioned.
Forrest is I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe he's a big American Revolution guy. So I was curious to see how many American Revolution games he'd put in there.
It looks that way. But you will see here with ST Mode 79, so right off the bat, top 5, you can see it above the fold, Leaping Lemmings, which was, so I think that game sold well, but a lot of people panned it. It's kind of more of a Euro-y simple game.
Isn't that a board game or something?
I can't remember. You could be right. Sekigahara. You know what was interesting with that? Marshall. So Marshall in our group on BGG, he's got the profile of oh come on,
Darwin.
Yes, Darwin's profile is his avatar. He had pre-ordered that and waited years and years. He was going to Japan for work all the time. And that was the first time I played that game. He loves it. It's a block game. 3 is Talon. 2 is Space Empires 4X. 1 is Thunder Alley, the Grand Prix, and the Apocalypse Road, which he's playtesting. And I'm actually very interested in Apocalypse Road. I love that whole post-apocalyptic scene. So have you played any of these racing games?
No.
All right. Thunder Alley is all the stock car stuff. Grand Prix is all the European, I forget what the little fancy racers.
Now I put in the comments, I played Talon in Jim Crone's house with him. He taught it to me.
Look at you, name dropper.
Yeah, I am. And he's a cool guy. Yeah, we played Clobber. I taught him East Front. Not East Front. The Worthington one. Hold Fast. I taught him Hold Fast Russia. He had it, and I taught it to him, and he clobbered me. And then we played Talon, and he clobbered me. But yeah, he's the guy behind Bandit Brothers and Space Empires 4X. So
sure. Yeah.
Super cool guy.
His house and Mark's house. See, you are a stalker.
Yeah, no, out of the what I call the four horsemen of the awesomeness, the only guy I haven't got to meet in person yet is Mike Ranella. Daniel Berger's the 4th person. And then I had to expand it to 5 and add in Herman Luttman, but I haven't met him either. So, but 4 of those guys are not. It's all except Dan. They all lived up in New York, so there must be something in the water up there.
Ooh, a lot of history. You're living on the ground, which would just be very interesting.
Yeah, that's Syracuse area. There's a lot of cool stuff. I've been up there and been out to Fort Stanwix, and then I've been over to Saratoga a few times. It's cool. Ticonderoga.
Oh, I love that. When you're walking the actual ground, it just, I don't know. It's all out east, though. Well, mostly. Erwin Lau. Number 1 is Twilight Struggle. 2 is a World at War 3. No, sorry. See, this is why I messed up. I like them layered down. Twilight Struggle is number 1. 2 is a World at War. 3 is Here I Stand. 4, the Battle of Normandy. 5, Fire in the Lake. We are not doing 6, 7, and 8. You're breaking rules. Can't do it.
And find out how hard it is to make a top 5.
Exactly. That's exactly why. And we love the struggle. We love the struggle. Epictetus. Let's see. Great video. He misses Greg. Robert Schinneneggenberger. My name's Brunsheen. I get it. 1, Combat Commander. 2, Fire in the Lake. I don't like all coin equally. Like how I did that. Like he's Deep South. Sorry. 3, U.S. Civil War. 4, Unconditional Surrender. 5, Triumph and Tragedy. Let's see here. There's you saying something. I forgot to mention the show, The Battle Line. Sorry. Gregor's. Great show, guys. He also likes Knizia. It was cool to see Battle Line make the list. I love Battle Line. And you know what it is? He talks about some other games from Knizia that are equally good. Tigris and Euphrates, Modern Art, Raw. I went and got Samurai, Blue Moon, Legends. Twilight Struggle and Knizia's Battle Line drew a lot of eyes and wallets to GMT and gave them ability to start making more games. You've got to appreciate what it did from a business standpoint. I definitely do.
That's what coin does, like it or not, man. It's a money generator.
Yes.
Well, those games, they print money. So it's like, yeah, it gives a chance to, even if you don't like it, you like it because it's funding them to make all the games you do want. So
100%. Yep. And obviously there's people out there that are wanting to buy them. And that's what keeps a company afloat. They won't stay afloat if they go too niche. JD says he's sorry that he missed the live show. No problem, JD. But here is his top 5 GMT games. 5, Triumph and Glory. 4, Crown of Roses. 3, U.S. Civil War. We've seen that. 2, A World at War. And 1, Empire of the Sun. Look at that. His honorable mentions. He's got War Galleys, Passive Glories, Ardennes 44, No Retreat in there. Let's see. We're moving up. Did Rick Godot? I thought I remembered him having a list. Yep, there it is. Once again, start with your list first. It'll make it a little easier and better chance of being read on air. Rebel Raiders, 4, Passive Glory, 3, Command & Colors, Ancient. He loves the left, center, right card control. Works so well with the Ancients era. 2, Twilight Struggle. 1, what is that, Wilderness War? Woo!
Yep, I have all 5 of his games.
Oh, yeah. I know you do.
I darn near have all of his honorable mentions, too.
I know. He's got
I should say have them or had them at one point.
So let me see. Yeah, there they are. I thought that because of that 5 in there. Let me see if I can get these in screen. See, it makes it hard for me to motor around. All right, there we go. 5, 1805, Sea of Glory. 4, Falling Sky. It's his second attempt at the coin. He appreciated the history, but he didn't have much interest in playing this. 3, Tigers in the Mist. An older title, but it's the sweet spot for a simple, fast-playing bulge game that doesn't abuse the history. 2 is CNC Ancients, and let me attempt one more time. There we go. Red Winter. Love everything about this game. Super well-written rules, top-notch components, great history, amazing playbook, and challenging, fun game. Have you ever played Red Winter?
I do. I actually got a copy from the designer himself. Facebook buddies with him. Actually, I sent him a trade request once, and is when the game was first getting out and had all the talk and it went out of print. And I'd offered him a trade request because usually designers have multiple copies, and he wasn't into it, the trade. And I said, that's cool. I said, I just heard a lot of good things about it. And a few months later, he said, hey, send me your address.
Wow.
So, but have you seen that game?
I've seen it. I haven't ever played it.
Oh man, the game is worth it just for the playbook.
Really?
It is like a book unto itself. I mean, you can tell this is his passion and has been his passion for a long time. I think there's even a pronunciation guide in there in the thing. But I mean, and there's a zillion scenarios to look. You can go the full campaign, or you can look at different aspects of it. The rules, I've never blurbed too much. I was afraid we're going to do a top 5 rule book, but that would probably be my number 1 best rule book I've ever seen.
Wow, really? Yeah, we might do a top 5 rule book sometime.
Rule books are usually either good at teaching and poor at referencing, or good at referencing and poor at teaching. This one is both. You can just sit there and read it, and it makes sense, and it's real easy to find stuff in it.
But under your rules, doesn't that mean now it's not concise, though?
He kind of hits it all. It's a work of art. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Now Mark said, Mark Mazicki, he said he has I used to call him Young Butterfield because I had a couple of Butterfield games, and I always thought they had really, really well written rule books. Hell's Highway, the solo D-Day game he did, Omaha Beach.
Right.
But anyways, I guess he's got a team of people that really go through his rule books pretty hard. I mean, he's got a pretty cool design team. But yeah, I'm glad to see that get up there, because it's always one of those games that's always right on the edge of your top 5. And GMT has so much stuff. As any other publisher, oh yeah, it'd be in there. And it was just sitting there. I was sitting there, I was like, I want to put this in there so bad. It's such a great game. And it's like, and that was his first thing. That's what's so cool, is a lot of young designers. I think Great One is telling me that, or somebody, I think I heard on a podcast. Yeah, he was talking about Jim Dunnigan had told him that you take as much of the history as you can and filter it through about 3 mechanics and shake the rest loose, because otherwise you end up with an unplayable game.
Right.
Yeah, it has everything in it, but it's not particularly fun. And he said that's a mistake a lot of young designers make because they're so passionate about this, they try to fit everything in it. And it's like Mazicki totally got it. I mean, Red Winter, it's not just your old zone and control chess, all the stuff you've seen. He has lots of neat ideas in it, but it's not over the top complex. It's just like a perfect sweet spot. It's just phenomenal accomplishment for a first time designer.
Wow, boy, you sold me. Oh,
I'm not going to get on Facebook and point him to this part of the video.
Yeah, I need to go look. I need to go look this thing up. Let's get into. I can't say his name. Let's just call him K. 5, Wilderness War. 4, Sekigahara. 3, Twilight Struggle. 2, Triumph and Tragedy. 1, Time of Crisis. And then we do get to, here is JB Gandalf, who says, still waiting on that Midway movie review.
2 words, it rules.
I think we need to do that. We definitely need to do
I need to go get it on DVD. I just want to watch it again. I think I saw it 5 times when it came out the theater.
I think I bought the digital version if I remember.
Okay. I'm still enough of a boomer. I still buy a DVD, but I haven't bought one in a while since I had this since I got this Amazon Video thing, Yeah,
there you go. All right, let's see here. Okay, there's Judd with would be tough. What are you saying? You all should do a commands and colors in-depth ranking. Think it'd be fun. I almost think we're getting close to where we might be able to do that.
Yeah, I put mine in there because I mentioned I haven't played.
Yours is listed. You break it all the way down to the 7, all the way to the battle.
Well, those are the 7 I have. I've never played the World War I one or the Samurai one.
Yeah. See, I think you're going to have to. Samurai is going to be reprinted either very end of this year by GMT or coming into 2021 because I've been eyeballing that for a while. I couldn't get a hold of Space Alert from PNC either. And PSC. Yeah, I did a little digital preview for them, and I was hoping they would send along their deal, but I don't know if it didn't do well for them or what, because I like the idea of these capital ships and little fighters coming out, all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. That one I haven't played, and I would love to play it. Remember, I kept saying they needed to do CNC in space, and then boom, they did.
Yeah, what's funny was when I made this, I was real hesitant to tricorn ahead of Napoleonics. And because man, I was getting so into Napoleonics. I'm like, is this a cult of the newish thing going on right now? And Tom and I has been playing Tricorn. We got this extended game going. We played it for the last 2 weeks. We'll finish it up the next one. We play about an hour and a half or so live. But yeah, Tricorn, I think as far as the design, by far is the best design out of it. Ancients is more fun to play, but for me, but Tricorn is just a wow. It's more complex too with how it handles things than all the other games in the system.
Interesting.
There's a homemade player card by something Toad, Liberty Toad or something. I don't remember in the file section. You got to get it, print it off, get it laminated if you want. I double-sided mine, trimmed it up, went over to the FedEx store and turned it into a laminate. You got to have it, otherwise you're going to be in that rule book all the time because it's not as simple as just roll, flag makes you retreat. Because when you retreat, you got to see if you panic and route and leave the battlefield, and there's different rules for range combat versus melee combat and things like this. So leaders are used differently, so it's more in depth than the other games.
Your efficiency plans are very good. I liked how you talked in one of the comments about what you did with Napoleonics and how you arranged all of the blocks by type, not by. Or no, you arranged it. How did you do it? And then you get a little slip in there that says what they are.
Yeah, I would do a. Well, I held up the slip last time, but I found out it's easier just to put everybody's mediums in the same bag because you don't have any problem sorting brown from green.
Right.
The block color itself. And you say, okay, this is all my medium infantry. Then this other bag this is all my warrior infantry. And if you want to make it even easier, actually, in case you dump the bag and it's all empty and you want to know which bag it went in, just put a little slip of paper in there saying what it is.
Perfect. Yep.
But yeah, I have such an unhealthy obsession with organizing my games. When I got the battle lore, I sat there with the Plano box for 2 nights, for like 2 hours a night, sitting there organizing, putting them in, trying them out different ways. And my wife sat there and laughed at me for what a dork I was trying to get this efficient, optimized system. Because like in Memoir, I got this giant Plano box that's up behind me and really deep. And as I'm playing the game, I'm picking up the game. You know, I just pull off my soldiers and throw it, and I'm putting them in the box where they go.
Right.
And I've got another box with, I mean, I have it very efficient for how I set up and take down. By the way, you always said you hated setting up Memoir.
Yes.
I saw the coolest thing. Kevin Kitchens, I think, showed or he uses like I think it was poker chips. No, Kevin had a block system, but one guy posted he uses poker chips, or if you had like Axis and Allies, use the chips. You know, 4 soldiers, put 3 chips under 1 soldier. I was like, dude, that's boom. I need that. I wish I hadn't got rid of all my Axis and Allies games.
All right, let me do this, and then we'll get back to you and I on screen. So John Rogers, CNC Ancients is number 1, 2 Dominant Species, 3 Indian Abyss, 4 Conquest of Paradise. I love that cover. And 5 Sekigahara. Let's see. We're going to do a few more. Let's see. Tom D. Love these videos. HAMTAG. Just throwing that out as it came across. Jim Smith. Let me drop down. So we'll go in reverse order here. He's got 1 first. Reds. 2 Gringo. 3 CNC Ancients. 4 CNC Napoleonics. And 5 CNC Medieval. I just like saying medieval. All right.
Hey, this game finally taught me how to spell that word.
Oh, yeah, I know.
That's one of those words I never could spell.
Right. I'm with you. All right. ERMJ 1986, 5, The Great War in Europe, the deluxe version, 4, For the People, 3, Washington's War, 2, U.S. Civil War, 1, Empire of the Sun. You two are twins almost.
There you go.
All right. Let's see. We got Nathaniel Robinson, Washington's War 1, 2 Talon, Wing Leader Victories and Supremacy is number 3, Force Triumph and Tragedy 5. I like this, Nathaniel. Tank Duel. I love me some Tank Duel. There's some more stuff coming out on that as well. Let me get out of this. I'm going to stop, and then I've got to pop back in, and then I'm going to bring us back into this mode here.
Oh, man, I'm so far behind on comments because I have my screen up.
Right. Yeah, I know. You can't see them. I need to get out. I've got a double screen. I need to bring a double screen so that I can do all the share screen on that and then still watch comments and see how we look, because how we look matters, especially when you want a Pope hat. I love your Pope hat.
That was awesome. Well, what's funny was my oldest daughter said, Dad's wearing a Pope hat on TV and nobody seems to bat an eye. One of my other kids is like, you actually have a Pope hat. So, well, they knew who Michael Bishop was. So I explained to him how I'd wear that to the games, purple face, cross around my neck, and a staff that was a golf ball retriever with the K-State Wildcat head cover. And instead of doing this, I'd bless him. I'd make a KSU, and people would come up to me and say, give me a blessing. And I'd say, I bless you in the name of the Snyder, the Kelly, and the Bishop. Go in victory, my son.
Yeah. Yes, I know. And then you said Bishop saw you once and just kind of shook his head.
He looked at me funny and shook his. That was funny. My old, I think I don't know where I wrote this. My old college roommate was a team chaplain, and I saw him and I hollered at him, and he looked at me for a little bit. He goes, Judd? And I go, yeah. He goes, dude, we need to talk.
Yeah. That is funny. That is funny. I love it. Let's see. The acting alone was stunningly bad. Oh, it must be talking about Midway. Yeah. It must be. Yeah. The CGI were good, but 5,000 B-26s in the Battle of Midway was so wrong.
Oh yeah. No, there's stuff like, they didn't show the fighter escorts, and they should have. I mean, I know they don't want it. There's a problem with making the movie too much, kind of like making a game too much. I thought they should have showed. It would have been a cool thing to put in there, or at least in the extras. Even, how they take multiple characters and put them into one to try to simplify it for the viewer. If they would have taken one of those guys trying to come up with how to solve the superiority of the Zero over the Wildcat, and then come up with the thatch weave. I don't know if you're familiar with that, the way they zigzag.
Yeah.
And then start doing that. It would have been a cool historical note just to teach people.
Well, his name was Thatch. That's what I love about it.
So
you know what I wish, and there's probably they're so nervous when they got that much money involved. I wish this would have been given more like the Marvel hero treatment, where you had 3 movies that set up. So you get Pearl Harbor, and you get that whole, you spend a full movie on what happens with Pearl Harbor, knowing it's just episode 1. And then you move into the response with the Doolittle raid and all that could have been done in and of itself, and them trying to get back, and how the Chinese really got, that whole province was devastated because they helped them. That could have been episode 2 with a lot of actual detail thrown in depth. And then 3, midway, culminating in everything that leads up and all that. And then if that was successful, they could carry it on and show some of that was just, I wish more folks were doing what Marvel managed to do, because it's the only way, in my opinion. I think movies are kind of falling to the wayside. I'll take Band of Brothers and the depth that you get from those episodes when they're given the time to tell a much longer, more involved story. That's where movies are dropping for me. They got to dumb it down, and it's so expensive they can't take risks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I ever had Bill Gates' money, where I don't care about making money anymore, I'd be going to Straczynski and saying, go finish Crusade. I'd go up to what's his name, Josh, and say, let's do Firefly. Let's finish these things. Oh, by the way, I'd go buy Disney and then go bring in JMS and have him do a Star Wars, because he couldn't do it in 3 movies. He'd do it in like 6 or 8 movies, but it'd be the greatest thing ever.
Well, that's where Mandalorian, and the idea, the way they're bringing it into TV allows that longer form of a telling. That's why Firefly or it was so good, even though the movie's great, the ability to really go deep into the characters. Especially if they're networked together. Tom Hanks with Band of Brothers Pacific, I don't know where it's at, but he's working on an 8th Air Force, particularly the bombers, using, can't remember the book, I've read it. It's not the Mighty, they're talking about calling it the Mighty 8th, but there was a great book that takes it from start to finish and what happened and why they did what they did. Obviously, they won't be able to do that, but man, there's some stories that they can tell in there.
I heard his Battle of Atlantic movie come out on, they're streaming it.
Say again?
That one he's doing about the Battle of the Atlantic.
Oh, yeah, it's the Wolf Pack where it's.
I heard that's streaming. I found a top 5 way back here. Van Wilson, if you want me to shout him out, I was kind of scrolling through the comments trying to catch up.
Do it.
He said, "I'm not for popular, just great, unconditional surrender." I'd like to try that one out sometime. Arden 44, The Hunters, Empire of the Sun, and Dark Valley.
Nice.
Greyhound. Thank you. That's the name of it.
Yep. And so that's streaming now, huh?
That's what I heard, which, if you think about theaters and social distancing and all this, kind of makes you wonder if theaters aren't going to go the way of Blockbuster.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. That or we need to get, I heard, I was reading a deal where the UK's testing, it's a small group, only 25 people, but it looked good for a vaccine. So, of course, it's got to be built out and tested further. But Greyhound, I'll have to go check that out. It looks phenomenal. Way to show the Wolf Pack, and that looks nice. Looks very nice. So Tom is saying it's out. Yeah, they've been doing releases straight to, Amazon Prime is usually where I see it. So, Masters of the Air was the book.
Sorry, it caught me off guard. Vorpal had a comment about I only have one coin game, Hearts and Minds, and I had to huh? Yeah, Fire in the Lake. I was like, Hearts and Minds isn't coin. Okay, yeah, it's cool.
All right. We're at 49 minutes, so we're good on that. I love that Greyhound got mentioned. I wish they would definitely, what Band of Brothers was able to do. Pacific was, the Pacific always gets short shift, but it's their source material was from privates. I'm forgetting the name of the book. Someone will throw it in the comments. And then you have the problem where different groups are attacking different islands. So you can't tell this cohesive story because they're popping here, popping there, and it's so big and sweeping. But man, you got to feel how dark and sad it was.
Yeah, what helped me make sense of that to me was that I mentioned that Time Life book, Island Hopping. When I saw that, it put a lot of the strategy in perspective, what they were going for.
Right. You know what I want? Now I'm blanking on his name. I can't pull names out of the ether like I should. I've got his book, Ernie Pyle. There we go, finally. I would love a movie on Ernie Pyle, who was the writer that just wrote so beautifully well.
Mm-hmm.
He dies over in, it was Ranella's Game that even came.
Yeah, I always called it Aishima, but he called it something else.
Yes, Aishima is where he died. And the European Yanks were pissed that they let him die. They were like mad over it. They were like, God dang it, why didn't you protect him? But yeah, here's Tom. Let's get this out. So Tom got 5 Space Corps 400s, Tank Duel 2, Triumph and Tragedy 1, Time of Crisis. So Pacific War fan. Yeah, it's so interesting how they're diametrically kind of opposed. It was supposed to be Europe first, but the ability for the Navy to do what they did in the Pacific, it's just amazing. The Marine Corps, the Army, quite honestly, as well. So, just amazing.
Vorpal had a comment back here. I was going to grab it. Who's the best cavalry in the Napoleonic Wars? Talking the game, I'm going through them in chronological order, so I'm only up to the Austrians, Prussians, and French, and amongst those 3, it's the French, pretty obviously. I haven't got to the rest yet.
JD is absolutely 100% correct. So helmet for a pillow and with the old breed. That's exactly it. I like what John here is saying. Give me an HBO Band of Brothers treatment of Alexander the Great. Yeah, Tom Hanks is on fire. I'm actually rewatching what is it, From the Earth to the Moon, which was, I think, one of his first big HBO specials. It's so funny. He opens it up and he's so young. And, and that led him down that road of Band of Brothers and others. So totally worth the read. What I'm reading right now is Black Thursday, the Schweinfurt raid. And because I'm doing this whole B-17 playthrough deal with my Patreon supporters, man, has that got me back in the game. It's a solitaire game, but by putting these folks in there, it like comes to life. Wait till you see what my radio operator does in one of the missions. It hasn't come out yet. It's fabulous. It's fabulous.
Hey, I see a comment of that. I can answer this one. Original Midway was great. No idea why they did a remake. I can actually answer that one. I read that. The director, I forget his name. You'd think I'd know as many times as I saw that movie. He was watching a documentary on it, and he didn't know a lot about the topic at the time, and he just got fascinated and said, I'd like to make a movie about this, let more people know. Well, yeah, the 76 movie's fabulous. I have it, the Charlton Heston Fonda one, Henry Fonda. But yeah, a lot of people aren't going to know about it. So anytime they do movies like that, I'm like, hey, if it helps people learn something, and maybe they want, if that's all they know, that's great. But if it drives them to learn something more about it, hey, yay, good job. But yeah, that's why he saw something on it and wanted to make it into a movie and get the story out there more.
The other thing I like, I don't know if you watch The Mandalorian, but then they do what's called the gallery, and it shows you all the behind the scenes, like the score, how they came up with that. Mm-hmm. They have a whole episode of behind the scenes called The Volume. Well, they came up with a bunch of LED screens that are both around you and above you. I forget what the apex of all the screens are. And then they use a video gaming engine, and it's from the perspective of the lead camera as the first person shooter kind of player. And it's so good that they're able to not go on location and thus keep everything very inexpensive and shoot in studio. Apparently Lucas used to say, hey, at some point in time, I want to shoot these movies in my garage. And that's what this is achieving, and they're right there. And it's going to allow for a lot more affordable things like I think World War II movies with the planes or with B-17s or even with GIs, assaulting whatever. It looks really, really interesting, and it should bring costs down. John says, Bart, check out Epic History TV's here on YouTube series on Alexander the Great. It's so good. Also, they do
Epic History is awesome.
Yeah, you know what? We had that. YouTube it's the barrier of entry is so low cost wise, and if you put out good stuff, you will get the viewers. And I think that's where YouTube might be I know that, well, right there in the history, that's where the future is. And I think we've got good things coming for us history lovers, because I'm definitely a lover of history, as I know Judd is, and a lot of folks watching here are.
Yeah, I watched that Napoleonic stuff I've been studying recently. Epic History. And like when I did the Mark Herman Waterloo, I went out and watched Epic History, get a brush up on what was going on. I'd sit there and learn it, then forget it, learn it, forget it, learn it, forget it. And then when I played Mark Herman's game and I watched the video at the same time, suddenly the 100 Days campaign made sense to me.
Here's Curiosities. This is Matt's list. 5, Fate and Glory. 4, Twilight Struggle. 3, The Hunters. 2, Combat Commander. Bought 2 used copies. 1 had counter clipping. 1 Command and Colors Ancients. Very nice. All right, we're coming up on the hour. What else are you planning on doing? Well, do we want to determine what our next top 5 publishers should be? We can do Avalon Hill. You know what? I actually have Victory Point Games. It would be a stretch for me, but I've got enough that I could come up with. It wouldn't be the greatest list, but I could come up with it. And they're currently, no longer in production. They've been sold off, whatever. It might be a good time to do it. Although I think Avalon Hill would be natural progression as well. What do you want to do, Judd?
Okay. Let me ask you if you can do these. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got amongst us. Can you do Columbia?
No. Well, it'd be close.
Go get your copy of Rommel and play that thing.
I know. Let me go look. I might be able to do Columbia. It would be pretty darn close, so it wouldn't be a very refined list. So mark it as an asterisk, possible.
Okay. Worthington?
No.
Oh, right. I could easily do them on 10.
You could.
Yeah. Okay, we can do Victory Games and Avalon, we said.
Well, we can do Victory Games, Avalon, but I said Victory Point Games.
Yeah, Victory Points. I can do them easy. I've played most of their big stuff.
Victory Games, Victory Point Games, Avalon Hill.
Shoot, let me see.
Well,
I could do Warfrog, but I only have 5.
Yeah, I was looking at the same thing. I could do
MMP. I'm terrible on all I have on them is the Ranella games.
I've got their great campaigns, but those are more me collecting and thinking I'm going to learn them later.
I can do Clash of Arms, but it wouldn't be real strong.
All right.
I can do Compass games.
Yeah, I might be able to. I could do PSC, Plastic Soldier Company, but I don't know if you could.
No.
All right, so let's do this. We'll look at that as time continues, and we'll see what we can do. But
I could probably put together SPI/Decision, but it would be really weak and disappointing because there's just too many epic games there I've never touched.
All right, let's go Big Daddy, and especially since I'm doing all my Avalon Hill stuff as it stands now. That's with GMT. I would say Avalon Hill harkens back strong. So let's just say that the next top 5 we'll do publisher-wise is going to be Avalon Hill. And I'll keep, you and I can chit-chat, and because I'm trying to see, can I get to 5 is what the hard thing is. And some of them, I'm just at 5 when we mention them. So
Victory Point, by the way, they got bought by somebody who was interested in their intellectual properties, mostly. Yeah. What was it? Darkest Night, I think.
Yeah, Nemo's War.
And Zed's. Yeah. But they put out an announcement. I saw this on the Wargame forum that there's like 5 or 6 of them, Wargames, that they're looking to reprint, upgrade /gold banners and stuff like this. And I was really surprised Now, one of them, what didn't surprise me because I've heard about it mentioned, was Cruel Necessity. That one's been tossed around. It's a State of Siege game on the War of the Roses.
I have it.
And my understanding is, I think, I could be wrong, but I think Joe Miranda took his 2 games, Zulus and Empires in America, to decision games. Because he
After you talked about Zulus, I wanted it. I went and looked online. There was no way I was buying that for like $170.
Seriously? Oh, dude, I can find that for you a lot better. I'm pretty sure I saw them out there.
It was just a quick glancing look, and that, I mean, I'm with you. I didn't, I'm not going to.
And the only ones I knew that really went for high was the 2 Steve Carey games, and my understanding is I think he's shopping them around. That his are Malta and We Must Tell the Emperor. And but yeah, they had a couple of surprises up there, and I don't know. The one I really want to see get an upgrade is the Chris Taylor's Space-O game, Astra Titanus. If you haven't played that, that thing is a blast. It's so much better than Ogre, which is an impressive accomplishment in and of itself.
Right, it is.
But
man, the way Victory Point Games put out games, and it had that homemade feel. The wood printing, the napkin that they had in there to wipe off the soot. I love that kind of homegrown bootstrap USA. These, we're doing it at a school and we're practicing the art of even making the game and showing the business. I kind of love that. Maybe it's just lore that surrounds it or marketing, but I like that whole aspect of it.
Something else I kind of I think I'm understanding, John, right, is when we decide after we get, okay, we can do this, this, and this, and this, just have another from the rest. Because,
we talked about that, having a wild card that it's like they're all.
Yeah, because I mean, some of those guys like Hollenspiel, I hope I said their name right. Was it Tiny Dog or something? White Dog. Tiny Man Publish. I mean, there's a lot of those games, and they're kind of new out there. Oh, can you do Revolution?
No, I don't have that many from Revolution. I know that's Ranella's. He's going through them.
He works with them, yeah. Of course, you're doing that. You're just back at him a top 5 Ranella. But no, they got a couple. Washington's Crossing. They've done those Herman Luttman Civil War games are pretty cool too.
Well, I love the idea that once we get through what we can do publisher-wise, and that is the limiting factor of what do we have, we might be able to definitely do some that, hey, it's the hodgepodge, but we might be able to do something that, I don't know, I listed because there's, well, no, we'll just say from the rest. I like that.
Yeah. That'll give us, 4 or 5 weeks or so of stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's good. And I think there's something to be said by what a publisher can do as if it's a ludus of games, a school of publishing in terms of what are they able to do. I mean, what Avalon Hill was able to do, what Victory Games was able to do under Mark. What these companies are able to do and then do consistently. I mean, what GMT has done. I mean, they're really, as far as production value, they're top notch. The titles that are coming out, the P500s, even the way they're ramping up their games. That's kind of, and what Avalon Hill was able to do for so long, and brought most of us into this hobby. So here's a question from Tony. How about a genre list? Well, we kind of did that with our decades. Were you thinking something different? I mean, is there something different on the genre?
Wave. Say hi to my daughter, the star from Mark's Unboxing. There we go.
Hey, that was like a model walk.
Birthday girl this last week.
Woohoo!
16. Woo! Let's all sing.
Sweet 16.
It's fun to get to that age and you can embarrass them just by simple things.
Oh my gosh! I talked to a girl at my son's school when he was 12, and he still's like, "Don't talk to girls at my school, Dad." So, I said, well, how are your grades? And he was like, "Dad, what are you doing?" Well, don't ask her what her grades are. I'm like, well, I don't know. How do I make small? He's like, how about don't? Let's see. You know what? I do
have a birthday comment.
Uh-oh. Here it is, baby.
There you go. It's on the screen.
That's it. Happy birthday. Hey, there's another walkthrough. I could do Devil Pig, but you probably don't have enough from Devil Pig games.
I don't know if I have anything by them.
It's all the same game for me. The Heroes in Normandy system.
Oh yeah, no, I've never played it.
Stalingrad and all the spin-offs. Yeah, I could just go to town. Well, see, they were under Yellow. Well, not under Yellow. Sorry, Yellow was doing their American releases, and at the time I knew he's a German fellow that was at Yellow, and so I was doing a lot of their reviews. I love their
Lucky 13. We did do a top 5 sports game. If you check out HAMTAG Sports on YouTube, it should pop up. Yes. That was Greg. That was Greg with us. That was an oldie, but my top 5 hasn't changed.
We've got several that were under the Dice Tower, which still get good hits and good views. And then we switched over to us in like 2015, I think 2015 or 16 was where it came over to bonding with board games. So I think we're good. Well, we know we're doing Avalon Hill next, so that's good. That'll give us time to put that list together. And then, of course, we'll do the fans list. I am continuing to work on going back and bringing in live interviews like Charlie Kibler, who was an artist, right on St. Nazaire. His Stalingrad map was gorgeous. Go watch that interview. When we got off screen, he mentioned several other people that I could reach out to because I said, I love this. I feel like I'm going back to when I was a teen and imagining what Avalon Hill was like in Baltimore. And I'm going to have, Robert Waters this Sunday. Robert was in. He did play testing for Don Greenwood. And he ran, boy, that didn't help. He ran the general for a while.
Have you reached out to Roger McGowan or Mark Simonich yet? That'd be a couple of fascinating folks.
I haven't, and they would be fascinating in their own right, but even part of this Avalon Hill deal. So I plan on working on that. The first thing I did was Charlie put me in contact with Robert right away, and I was like, let's start this ball rolling. The cold call hits can take a little bit more work on my end, whereas if Charlie says, hey, I just talked to Robert the other day, I think he'd love to come on the show. I said, boom, see if he's willing for me to email him or call him. And I was up and running. So, but yes, I'll be working on all that. If it's anybody big or small, I want to get the background.
You know, we've floated also around down the road. Any interest in a top 5 box covers? I mean, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I think everybody has a pretty strong opinion of that one.
Yeah, it would kill me because of my Hall of Fame, Steve and all his oil art.
Might have to make the Borg, the Pashal.
Yeah, I know, the Pashal. He's painting. He's out of Hawaii, and he has painted some beautiful things for Academy Games. The good thing is he's done some box covers for Academy Games that are not part of the Conflict of Heroes, so I could still get them in. I would love to do that. So after we get done with these publishers, put a little feather in your cap there, put a little tick mark in. We will do top 5 covers. That'll be, because you're right, I could do a top 100 probably covers. I mean, I love the box artwork and how it draws a person in and what it says about a game. And so a good call.
I could do a top 5 of games I got because of the cover.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. That is what draws us in. Heck, B-17, Queen of the Skies. I'd read so many books on the B-17, loved it. I'm in my first board game store, and I see it on a shelf, and it beckons me. And I come over, and I'm like, look at this. And I flip it around back, and all the artwork done there. And I was like, whoa. And then I'm reading it, and I'm like, whoa, this is solitaire? And I put it back on the shelf because it was a whopping $15, and I was 13. And I remember I went back to that store the next time, and I was like, man, I think I'm going to have to do this. Yeah, it's a lot of money. I'm not sure how this will work. What kind of game can you do like this? And then
you got your money's worth.
Oh, gold mine, baby. Gold mine. It's paid back multiple times. Yeah. So, but that is, yeah, that we'll do that. After the publisher series is done, we will go in and do top 5 covers. I love it.
Top 5 rules are for lawyers games. I wonder what that means.
I don't know, probably where you can come in and say, well, it'd be like being a rules lawyer. I don't know.
Man, I think that'd be a list of 1 for me. Starfleet Battles. I don't have that many games. I mean, I keep my East Front stuff in a 3-ring binder now, but it's pretty smooth. But yeah, Starfleet Battles, we were all looking for that hidden rule we could spring on somebody. But ASL wasn't really my thing, but I could see, I mean, as far as collecting, but I could see that game being one of those types, but I don't own it.
Right. I'm with you. I like your idea of top 5 rule books as well.
That's definitely in the eye of the beholder, too.
It is. It totally is.
I will not put my own rule book in there. Conflict of interest.
Right. Yeah, that one wouldn't be a Hall of Fame, but it would be a distinct conflict of interest. I'm putting my own in there. Just the fact that you could say that is pretty cool.
There's a funny, a meme. It has this professor. He's sitting there like smug, and behind him is just this chalkboard full of equations. And I took that and I put, he doesn't understand why you think his rule book is difficult. He had no problem understanding it. So that's how it is for me. Heck, I had no problems with France 1944. How could you?
Right. Boom. There it is.
Ah, you're awesome. Send me a geek mail. I'll send you a ton of geek gold. I'm just shelling that out. I'm buying support.
That's it. Put it out. All right. Well, let's wrap this show up, baby. It was a good show. GMT, great publishing company. It looks like there's more cool things to come. I do love the fact that with all the slowdown and everything, it doesn't look like, other than production got slowed down, that it looks like board games, or at least our genre, where a lot of them are solitaire, have done just fine. So we have a lot of board game events in our house that are more like I was planning a Knizia night, so it was going to be all Knizia games that we were going to be teaching and playing here with a big crowd of people. That got nixed until the vaccine's out, probably. But board games are doing healthy, I think. So, all right, anything you want to add, Judd, before we close it?
I have spoken.
Hold on, what is this? Yeah. What is that about Judd Rulebook?
France 1944 Deluxe Edition Compass Games. Mark Herman, he let me write the rulebook.
He has spoken.
Yes.
He has spoken. I love it.
That's why if you sit there and read it and you're like, man, usually Mark Herman tier books like bring a little tear to my eye because they hit you in the feels and they're so poetic. And this one isn't really. That's why, because I'm not the great one when it comes to writing.
It would have been cool if the very last line was a paragraph break and then saying, I have spoken. And then that got to do that in the future. All right, I'm going to end it. Judd, hang on the line. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And this is our fan ramble, and we got to do the top 5 GMT publisher games.
And for that one joker, I think it was John, Yankees rule.
Woo. All right, game it, gamer gods. Ending.